Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Way We See It today, as I have a gorgeous guest here with me, known as the Style PT on Instagram, the gorgeous Felicity. So I would love for you to introduce yourself, because if I try and introduce you, I will either miss something out, over explain it, or not explain you how you are right today. So I'd love for you to share a little bit with the people, my listeners, about kind of who you are and kind of what you're passionate about. And then we're going to dig into styling for body confidence.
Hello, Lucy, and thank you very much. It's delightful to be here. I am the Style PT, Felicity Day. I'm 58 and I have been a fashion and makeup junkie lover my entire life, but I've actually worked in the industry and got myself some qualifications and done training on the way and a bucket load of life university lessons. But my passion has always been and will always be helping people look and feel their best, whatever shape they are, whatever form that takes, age, whatever gender, it really doesn't matter, because it's all about them. And as a stylist, personal stylist, I don't really mind what you want to call me. I'm not that fussy on labels. I just I have a good, I've got a good eye for clothes. I've got a good eye for people, and I really enjoy it. And it's all about having fun and empowering and getting confidence, just being happy and enjoying life and enjoying the clothes that you have and not buying things you don't need.
Oh my God, I am so guilty of buying things and then trying them on and they don't fit. And then I just forget to send them back. And then I'm like, oh, so I'm so guilty of that. And actually, we've recently talked about some things that would suit me, and they are on my purchase list for this week, ready for my trip to the Amalfi Coast in May. So obviously lately I've been talking a lot about body confidence, and that's really what's led to us having this conversation today. And the last episode that actually went live today, at the time of recording, this will go live 3rd of April. But the one that's gone live today was all about kind of body confidence and kind of really body confidence is an inside job. So Felicity, I'd love you to share a little bit about your body confidence journey, because you have been on a hell of a journey, and obviously we've been in each other's lives from a distance, but also kind of, liking a comment for a little while now. And obviously I've seen some of that. So I'd love you to share a little bit about your body confidence journey and how maybe clothes, or maybe the way that you present yourself, I guess is the way to kind of encompass it all, has really shifted over the years. Being that you're 58, even though you absolutely, if you're watching this on the video podcast, do not look 58. And there is no way in hell I would ever say you were 58.
Thank you. Funnily enough, my body confidence journey has been a long one. I pretty much had, and probably to an extent still do in some respects, have not got a great body confidence in myself personally, even though I put myself out there. And as you know, I've trained, I did a competition, a bikini competition, and I won. But funnily enough, I won best dressed in that, and I was absolutely delighted. But I, like many women, you are a product of your parents and your society and your life, and you're born with the genes you are, and you're pretty much born with what you've got, height, weight, all those kind of things. There's a huge genetic impact on that, and some are born tall and slender and some are born not. So you have to kind of accept yourself. And I think for us women and people and men as well, acceptance is probably the hardest thing. And I definitely think it's even harder now with social media, and I'm on social media and put myself out there, but accepting yourself as you are is really hard. But we have to, because you can eat healthily and exercise and diet and stuff to modify, but intrinsically you stay the same. Now, where I've used clothes in my life, I had bulimia for 25 years, and I'm very, very open about things, because there's no point, I don't believe in pretending to be something you're not. And it was quite a journey, but I did actually cure it or whatever you want to call it. But my love of clothes and dressing has helped me actually in the big scheme of things, because I've used it in two ways, getting dressed up and putting nice clothes on, whether they be from Primark or Harrods, it doesn't really matter. Just feeling good has really given me confidence to go out there. My natural love of clothes and makeup, because they both work very, very closely. I can't separate them. Maybe I should, but I can't. My bank account can't either. But they have helped me overcome things. And I clothes can be, I think there's clothes and confidence work two ways. You don't want to use clothes to work against you, but you want to use clothes to work for you. And I've always used clothes to make me feel better and more confident. And I've had the fortune to work with people along the way, and I've worked in the fashion industry, and I have met and worked with some stylists and people who have helped me and educated me. But there's something that we all have, and it's called our style personality. And that style personality actually taps into your own personality. So, for instance, I use myself as an example. I am a classic style personality with a romantic side. Most people have two or three. You're never particularly one thing. And I'm sure when you'll work with people, you find this as well. But that classic style personality, as the name suggests, means that I tend to go for something probably a bit more smarter, more tailored, more elegant, chic. Think Victoria Beckham, that kind of look. Catherine Zeta-Jones, that kind of look is what I'm talking about. But I do love to chuck in a pussycat bow and something a bit, frilly. That's my romantic side, which is my softer side. And that's how I present myself in business as well, funnily enough. I am quite classic in business. I'm quite strong. But then I have this quite soft side to me. And it's interesting because along this journey, I've been doing a lot of training over the years. I've realized that clothes and our personality and makeup to an extent actually reflect our inner person. And if you can use something, whatever that tool may be, whether it be, exercise or eating health, to help you shore up that confidence, everything else that you use on top of it will just help you as the person. And also in along the way, I've met a lot of people who literally have no clue, and when they go in a shop are completely overwhelmed. They open their wardrobe and go, oh my god. Most people only actually wear 10% of their entire wardrobe. We're all probably a bit guilty of it, and to force yourself out of your comfort zone, even with clothes, can be quite hard. But here's the trick: if you can do that and learn to do it and have the confidence to do it, it actually knocks on into your life, your personal life, your professional life. If you just step over the edge of your comfort zone, but still keep it into your real personality. Now, I wouldn't say there's no point me. I'm a classic romantic. There's no point me probably starting dressing in sort of grungy streetwear, because that's just not me. And even if I did, I probably would feel very uncomfortable. Yes, I could probably do it, but I wouldn't feel like me. I'd be sort of running to my wardrobe for the nearest A-line classic dress I could find and a classic scarf. But it's a bit like it's the same with your personality. You have to work with what you are. And I think, as I'm sure you find with your work and what you do, is that people actually often don't know themselves, or they do, but they just don't trust themselves. I think there's a big issue of trust and trusting yourself. And in this day and age, we have so many influences from social media, telly, and you see this, and I should be this, I should be wearing that. Well, no, you shouldn't. You can, but is it really you? And my job is to help people have their confidence to let's just start with the brass basics. As a stylist, I would look at your wardrobe or take you shopping and point you in the right direction. There's no pressure. You don't have to do anything. You can take the advice if you want it. You can cherry pick it. I just give you the tools, like you do in your coaching things. We give people the tools. Exactly. And this toolbox is a whole toolbox of things that you can do to make yourself feel better, look better, and maybe achieve more. There's a very good reason why people wear suits and dress up. I mean, what we wear is so ingrained into our lifestyle and history of mankind, whether it be, if you look at the British Army or any type of force or any country all over the world, there will be a dress code, a dress sense, and that's national identity. You think of people from countries from all over the world, they have a national costume, a national dress, and that's a very good reason, because they're there for unity, but also it's with confidence and to instill pride. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that. And as women, I think sometimes there's a lot of pressure on women, particularly if we've got families and children, things like that. We always get into this bit like, oh, I can't spend money on me. It's, it's seen as vain. It's seen as, but that is not a helpful frame of mind to be in. I appreciate not everybody has got lots of money to go out and spending, and I get that. And you have priorities. You've got to pay your mortgage and your bills first. But there's absolutely nothing wrong in looking after yourself and promoting yourself, even if it's just for yourself. So I hope that answers some of them.
Absolutely. And I think, I love that you were honest about your background. Everyone on this podcast knows that I'm super honest. Like there's no point me telling you I didn't have disordered eating, because that would be a lie, So I think it's really important, because I think it helps anybody that's in that place right now know that there is hope, and that they can overcome the space they're in now. You said about a style personality, and I love that. And actually, do you remember when, and again, it might be an age thing, but when I was little, and my niece actually got these recently, so they still exist, those sticker books where you could get it, and there was like the girl, I'll call it, like the doll, and then you peeled off the sticker of the skirt or the dress, and then you put it on her, and I really loved that. Like I liked the fact that you could choose. And I would say I'd love to know basically how to work out your style personality. So is it like love language, where you can do like a quiz, or is it like a thing that you learn as a stylist? Like how do you figure out what your style personality is?
It's a quiz basically. I mean, there's a lot of them around on the internet, and they're all basic. There's basically a number, about 5 set kind of personalities, because you need to make things a bit simple. So there's the classic, there's the romantic, there's the natural, there's the dramatic, and there's the urban, and then there's the creative. 6. Most people have a dominant one, and they might have elements of others. So I said for myself, I'm classic romantic, which I haven't done a self personality on you, but I've got a sneaky feeling that you might come under that remit as well.
When you said that, I thought that sounds, when you said about an A-line dress, I was like, oh, I'm all over an A-line dress.
Yeah. And I know that because I, as we know each other, not desperately well, but we do. Yeah, I would put you as a classic romantic. Now, some people are very, they have a dominant, and some people, younger people, for instance, if you think of some students and whatnot, they're going to be very urban street. The Doc Martens, the baggy t-shirts, that's that kind of look. Your creatives are, as the name would suggest, they often can be in a lot of color, quite a lot of, and it's also about texture and fabric. And some fabrics work better. There's a lot of elements to it, but most people fall into that. It's a quiz that you do, and if someone's having a consultation with me, we'd always have a discussion, a chat. We do the style personality, the style assessment, because I would also want to know what your lifestyle is. I mean, if I'm with somebody who's a businesswoman, then there's no point me putting in her in, showing her, lots of casual wear, unless of course that's what she wanted. But there's tend to be staples that people want, and a lot of those are basics, like a good fitting blazer. And it's almost a bit like that. I think we're all guilty of it, even though we might do that ourselves. We'll stand there and go, I don't know. But my job is to come along and go, yes, no, let's see if we can do better, and encouraging people to try different sizes, look at things that they wouldn't necessarily look at. And the feedback I normally get from most people is that, bizarrely, even though they've paid for my time, I have saved them money, because they now have a better idea and can shop more effectively. Because sometimes when we go, I call it sort of, it's like a sort of spatter gun effect. You're like, oh, I'm going to go and grab. And online shopping makes it even worse. So much harder to find, because you see a picture of something and you've got no clue whether it's going to suit you or not, or the fabric. Even if you look at, say, what's it made of, 100% cotton, there's so many different types of 100% cotton. There's really good quality and there's really cheap quality, and they will hang differently. And also the other really important part is body shape.
I was about to say to you, where does body type in and where does body shape fit into the style personality? So you can have a personality, but then obviously you've got a body type. So how do those two things work together?
Well,
I'm so much. I don't know about anybody watching this, but I'm just sat there like this. I'm like, Right, okay, don't do that. Do this. Like, it's so, I bet people are listening to this thinking, oh God, that dress I've just bought from H&M is so wrong. Like, I literally bet people are thinking this right now.
If it is, take it back. It's always worth it. Body shape is basically proportion, and it's made up of two things: curve, lack of curve, and it's about balance. It's like how you have a balanced diet. We want a balanced lifestyle. We want to balance our work-life relationship. We want to balance our body. If you have particularly broad shoulders and narrower hips, then the trick would be to perhaps emphasize the hips and minimize the shoulders. So if I have a client who's got very, very broad shoulders, I wouldn't put her in a padded jacket, shoulder padded jacket, or I'd take the shoulder pads out, which I'm always cutting shoulder pads out of things. And, it's just little tricks like that, because most people want to feel better about themselves, and proportion does that. It doesn't matter what height you are or age you are. And any body shape can be any personality, because like for me and yourself, we're classic romantics, but you're more of a petite. So and I'm average height, but I'm not petite. But we say we will have the same traits, but that's not necessarily going to mean the same. Everything that I wear, you could wear, and vice versa, because everybody's body is different. But you can have any body shape in any style, personality, because they are the thing that you're born with. Yes, you can change it a bit with diet and exercise and stuff, but basically, if I'm an hourglass naturally, so shoulders and hips are relatively symmetrical, I go in at the waist. Not a lot is going to change that. If you're more of we have various names for them, like strawberries, apples, pears, athletic slenders. And it's really good. Like if you look at the catwalk, the runway, all the girls on there, the majority of them that go down are going to be athletic slenders, straight. But they have proportion, because everything will be in proportion. Although I love to see more of hourglasses and a normal, everyday shape people on the runway, but that's a whole different thing. But there's a reason for that, actually. That's quite commercial and financial reasoning for that one. Why that is, because it's a lot cheaper to make a huge expensive items and garments on much smaller people in the right, who are very narrow, who don't have much shape, because then they're cutting. But like I said, but that's important for people to know, because people get a lot of things wrong with that. And I don't judge, but I look on the tube quite a lot when I'm in London going, But I can't, but if you don't know, or you're following a trend, because style and fashion and trend are very different things.
So that's a great question for you then. So, okay, so let's say we'll do the classic ones that I would think of, right? So let's say you're an apple shape. So you're quite, maybe someone's carrying a little bit of extra weight round their midsection specifically. It's not so they haven't necessarily got the shoulders that lines up with that, but maybe they're a bit front heavy, right? Because again, this is the one I tend to see the most of, is people who are a little bit more front heavy tend to wear baggier things. And I know that sometimes, because I used to do that. So when I was a bit bigger, and I'm a pear shape, definitely a pear, like I have got more hourglassy because I've built my shoulders up a little bit and built my bum out a little bit to balance out my tiny waist, because I have a very small waist. But I know that I used to wear a lot of baggy things, or like, because I wanted to hide them. But I know in an apple shape, that can sometimes make it worse. If you're an apple shape, and then maybe we'll do if you're a pear shape, because I think if you're not, those two are the more problematic ones, aren't they? If you're an apple shape or a pear shape, what are the not to do's? I think that's probably the most constructive advice we could probably give people.
If you're an apple, probably best to not draw any attention to your waist, because you haven't got one. So and that is not your most flattering part of you. There's lots of reasons people have it, and a lot of women, as we get older, we get that because of the hormone changes. Life's a bit of a bitch there, but then what you need to do is, it's about sort of covering. There's wide baggy dresses are fine, but they can actually give you more volume than not. They can actually make you look bigger. So it's about sort of skimming that area and maybe putting the emphasis on. Now, normally with apples, you find they've got great legs. So I would probably put them in something maybe V-neck to give some shape here, draw the eye up, skim this part, and maybe shorten the length of the skirt or a dress, out, or put them in some heels, whether it's a kitten heel or a wedge. And so you're trying to sort of emphasize the good and minimize the not so good. It's a lot. I would never say people can't wear anything, because that's just too much of a broad brush for me. And, you know, like when people will say, sometimes people have had their colours done, they go, oh, I can't wear this colour. Well, yes, you can, because there's so many elements to that. Some colours look better than people than others. Like, again, that's another story.
Yellow, but I can wear like a rich yellow. I can't wear lemon, but I can wear gold, and I can wear like, but it is lemon yellow just makes me look awful. I just look
But lots of things will come in, like your hair color, the tan, time of the year, seasons, lights, you know, you name it. But it's about emphasizing the positive and minimizing the negatives, building up areas. So that's what I would probably do with an apple. You know, like high-waisted, nipped in things that stop here on the apple aren't going to be good, because your eye will just go immediately to that cut off. So you want a longer line jacket, a sort of lapels are good, that's open fronts, that, you know, bit of camouflage disguise. Boot cut jean is very good if you're heavier on, if you're sort of heavy up top, if you need to draw attention to the bottom of your body. So if you've got big shoulders or very big boobs, I would say a boot cut is great, because again, it gives you that balance. And also, you know, that's the thing, it's very much, and the other thing is you've got to try. And probably that's a bit where people sort of tend to fall down a bit. Oh, I can't be bothered. And they'll just repeat buying the stuff that they feel comfortable in. So my latest client, she was addicted to skinny jeans, which she looks nice in. But I've now got her into a boot cut, because she does a lot of exercise. So she's an athletic strawberry. Slender on the hips, very broad up here and bigger up here. But I put her in a boot cut with a heel, like a Cuban heel on a Western boot. It's really flattering, because that taper as well brings the eye down. So it's given an element of drawing down, elongation. And that's where the nude shoe comes in as well, because that elongates everything. So she's now rocking boot cuts with a Western heel, because she can walk around really comfortably, and she's got a little bit of elevation, and it's balancing her. And it's actually, you think of sort of Farrah Fawcett Major's 70s kind of vibe, it's a really nice look, and it's a look that a lot of people can wear. And the pear-shaped person, again, it tends to be smaller up here, bigger here, so it's reversing it. So you know, a padded shoulder would be good. Anything like ruffles, prints, like this is a printed top that I've got on. This is probably me having a romantic moment. But anything that draws the eye up, it's an optical illusion really, but it's just giving people that information and sort of skill to do it themselves. And to be honest, if no one tells you, how are you going to know? I mean, I didn't wake up knowing all this. I wish I had, but I've learned. And I've been fortunate enough to be told in the industries I've worked in, but I've done some training courses in it with the London College of Style was the last one I did, which was really, really good. And that taught me a lot about this kind of subject. And so I feel quite so passionate really, because I just would like people to sort of think about it. It's not so much as, oh, it's a luxury thing. It's actually, I mean, we wear clothes every day. Every single day.
We spend more time in them than not. Well, depends what you do for a job, but we usually spend more time in them than not, right? And what I think, especially from work from home culture over the last couple of years, right, has definitely maybe taken our eye off the ball of kind of feeling great in our clothes. And whether that's because people sat at home and gained weight, like Josh and I were just joking about how little steps we do now that we both completely work from home. Like he goes to the gym one day with PT, and how many steps, you know, and actually even just your activity levels and everything changes when you're at home, because you don't need to, you know, be fully suited and booted. And it's so interesting. I've figured out a lot of this stuff over the last few years myself, in terms of high-waisted really suits me, because I've got a super tiny waist and I'm super petite. But actually, for the first time last weekend, I wore like trousers that hadn't been tailored. Like I just kind of was like, really want to wear this outfit. it arrived late. I didn't have a chance to get the trousers taken up. But what it did was make me look so much taller, because I'd got these big, like a boot cut, I guess, on these trousers. And I would never ever have done that. I'd have been like, no, how ridiculous. Like, my logical brain would have said, oh my God, I can't wear those, they're too long. But actually how it looked was amazing. And I think this is where, investing some time in a stylist or somebody who, is in the space such as yourself is so powerful, when your outer confidence is important, whether it's on social media, whether it's in person, whether it's at events, whether you're dating, like having that confidence to be able to not only look in your wardrobe and go, okay, I know how to wear all of these things, I know how to dress all of these things, but actually be able, when you are ready to go shopping, or there's money, or you need an outfit for something, that you don't spend hours, and like the number of hours I know friends of mine spend ruminating over what they're going to wear to a party. Whereas I'm like, I need to get something new, but it's probably going to look like this, this, and this. And even I spoke to you the other day, didn't I? I said, do you think I can get away with this? Like, what would I wear that with? And it's having that person to be able to help you bring out the best in you. And that's really what I see a stylist as. Like you said, you're not enabling people, you're empowering people to be able to make decisions for themselves.
And also, I think people tend to do like, oh, what I'm going to wear for an outfit, and they'll end up wearing pretty much the same thing as they always do, because it's also that slightly, it's probably a little bit of element of maybe laziness, and sometimes you have to put a bit of thought and effort into it. But a lot of people just go, oh, safe. But a lot of people don't actually always feel, being safe doesn't necessarily make you feel good. And that can make you just feel, oh, okay, I'm safe today, and that's all right. It's okay, but it's not brilliant. It's not fabulous. And I mean, one of the biggest, I think the turning point for me was 7 years ago. I had breast cancer. I'm all fine now, so I'm fine. And when you get told that one day, when you're sort of doing green smoothies and training and working out, it's a bit of a bolt from the blue. But anyway, all's well ends well. But when I went through radiotherapy, I had to go for 3 weeks to Southampton General Hospital for treatment. And for some reason, I don't know why, but every day they gave me, quite later on in the day, like 3 o'clock appointments. Every day I did my hair and makeup and wore a different outfit. And the staff would say, oh, you look lovely, and oh, it's so nice to see you. And people would talk to me, and I was sitting there chatting to people. But for me, it really gave me a sense of, yeah, I'm in control, because I was actually not in control. There's an element of, yes, I was treated and got caught early, but there's always that element of doubt. But I was out of control of everything. I wasn't able to work, because I was going through it, and it was quite scary. But I took what I could control, and I used it as a confidence boost, and it really made me feel confident. And I talked to other ladies in similar situations, and some would say to me, because we'd often see the same people, and over the course of 3 weeks, I saw other ladies turning up for their appointments around the same time as mine. They'd all started wearing their lipstick and saying, oh, I put on a different pair of jeans today, and I put on some nice shoes. I'm not wearing my trainers. And they'd all started making a bit of an effort, and they kind of like, oh, I feel so much better. And, oh, it's really given me a lift. And there's no surprise, because actually, within sort of in cancer treatment, there is the look good, feel good, which is more makeup. There's a very, very good reason for that. It's a powerful thing. It's empowering, it's self-confident, it's motivating. It gets you going, your inner self going. And also, when my late father was in long-term hospital, they made him get out every day of bed and get dressed. And I was bringing him shirts and his nice shirts and stuff. And they were really encouraging. He didn't want to get out of bed. And I said, oh, come on, get out of bed. Because he was always a businessman and had lovely suits. And he started to feel better, because they made him get out of bed and sit in a chair, and he put on a shirt, and I brought some trousers in. I said, right, and in the NHS, they do actually strongly encourage that. And there's a very good reason, because it's actually really good for your mental health, which is the other element. Now, I know people can go over the top with shopping and it become too much thing, but there is an element of mental health, positive mental health in how you present yourself, and using clothes is part of that.
And also using them to hide. Like, you know, I've definitely had certain things where I'm hiding. Like I have a set of Marks and Spencer's tracksuits that I absolutely love that I wear for like dog walks. You know, like in winter, you want to be cozy on the walks and things.
Mm.
But I know that when I put those on, and it's more than just a dog walk, or if I stay in those all day, like this is like a comfy loungewear set, but I quite like this one. Like I'd wear this out with trainers. Or I can jazz it up and down with necklaces and whatever. But I've got these tracksuits, and I know that if I put those on and don't get showered out of them, like afterwards, I don't get dressed, to your point, I don't get much done that day because I'm too comfortable, and I don't go out into the world feeling my most confident, vibrant. I'm ready to network and mingle. Let me see if I can make new contacts. I don't think like that when I'm wearing a tracksuit versus when I'm wearing actual clothes. And obviously I have a corporate background, so there's an element of maybe conditioning there. But I do think unless you are a fitness professional and you wear tracksuits for a living, you know, and that's actually basically your uniform, I do think that you're right. It can affect how you feel, how you perform, how you think. And I've really made an effort to get dressed. I've really made an effort to, like today, my hair dried like a couple of hours ago. So it's still like what I call my spaniel hair, but it doesn't look too bad. But I've made an effort to make sure I put makeup on in the mornings. Because if I don't, I won't do social media. If I don't do social media, I won't do emails, and I won't build course content, and I won't. And it's everything's like a sliding scale. And I think this is what's happened over the last couple of years is people have, you know, rolled back their level of, and I don't mean investment financially, but their investment in the way they present themselves because they didn't have to. And I think
the other thing
back into that.
No, you're 100% right. And it's just a little quick one. My husband, he has quite a physical job, so obviously he doesn't wear suits and stuff to go to work. But when he comes home, he'll always change, wash, and then he'll go and put comfortable stuff, but a nicer pair of jeans on, puts on a nice shirt, puts some aftershave on, and he comes down and I go, oh, you look nice, and he feels better. And I know it's a bit reverse, but it's still the same thing. But it sort of makes him feel, like, and that's how he relaxes. I'm the other way around. But even so, I think that even if you're just being relaxing at home, having some nice, clean, comfortable wear is good. But wearing sort of comfortable jogging pants all day, every day is not good, because what normally happens, you go to put your tailored trousers on or your jeans and you think, ooh, missus.
Yeah, so I absolutely agree. And that's exactly what happened in lockdown. And then you put on your skinny jeans and you go, oh, they're skinny.
Yeah.
Because it is, you just get too comfortable. Totally that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of trends around. There's some, like you said, like the large baggy dresses can work really well on some shapes with some looks, but they also can, I think, there's a lot of them around because they're easy to make, but they sometimes don't always flatter people. Like, because I'm an hourglass, if I put on that, I just look drowned.
Yeah.
So it's about working with what you've got. But also the other element, what I do is I help people. If people want me to, I'll go to their house and I'll go through their wardrobe, because 9 times out of 10 people have got clothes that they could wear a lot more but don't. They've got clothes that they don't feel good in but still have them. And I could probably go around someone's house and go, actually, all you need to buy, and it's normally, weirdly, the basics, is probably a couple of good bras, some decent white t-shirts, and normally some trousers. And then sometimes, like, dressing if you've got a function or something is a different thing. But the amount of stuff most people have got is more than ample. And I'm very good at being I can cull. I could go around your house and go, right, that out. Charity shop will sell it. Because I've got a rule: if you haven't worn it for a year, you're unlikely to.
Yeah.
The only caveat I will say with that is things like winter coats, maybe like a wedding outfit
or a ball gown. Yeah.
But that is because people say, oh, I'm hanging on to this in case I lose weight, or I might get it altered. You won't.
No, and you're so right about that. Like, I actually have this beautiful dress. People have probably seen it on Instagram. It's got it's blue and it's got jaguars on it, and it's a silk dress, and it's my favorite piece of clothing. And it's technically not the best fit. Like, it does have a little cinch at the waist, like a little cinch here, but it's not necessarily a loosey thing. But I've worked out how to wear it with heels and trainers and make it work. The only challenge is it's dry clean only, right? So the problem is, if I actually properly wear it, other than wear it for an hour for drinks, obviously it needs to be washed, is that then I'm like, and so it often hangs in an environment where it doesn't get to go to because it doesn't go to the dry cleaners because it's the only thing I own. So it is things like that as well that I think sometimes we don't wear because of the fact they're just a ball ache. Do you know what I mean?
Silk is beautiful, but it's one of the hardest fabrics to live with. You know,
I mean, this dress cost me £300, so I was like, I'm not wearing it.
Yeah, and I've got a silk shirt that I absolutely is beautiful, but I'm almost too scared to wear it because I know if I get anything on it, you know, as soon as you get water on it, it's going to show just like that. Perfume, you know, if you get any sort of oily grease or anything from food or wherever, then that's it. It's hard. It's a hard material to work with. So there are a lot of the modern fabrics can look like silk, but wash and wear really easily. I would sort of encourage people to wear those. Very occasionally do I get something altered, because 9 times out of 10 it's not really worth it, because a good alteration will charge, unless again it's a real investment piece or an heirloom piece or something like that. You might as well sell it or charity shop it. But I don't really see the point in hanging on to things that you're not going to wear, you don't like, and don't flatter you.
Yeah,
you know, I would release them. I'm a bit sort of like into the karma. Give them to somebody else. I'd rather.
Oh, I love that though. Keep the energy going. That's everything with wealth, with abundance, with is if like you're sat on it and it's not for you. Like Josh and I, honestly, we have been you would be proud of us, the cull king and queen. Like we've moved house. Obviously, we moved house in 2021, and then we ended up moving out of our house, and then we had a gap before we moved in here. So we actually ended up living separately, but that meant everything was going in storage. So we were like, right, let's go. I mean, we literally gutted everything we owned, put it on in storage, then moved here, and then went again. And then did it. I mean, I don't even know how I had that many clothes and how I had that many lamps. I mean, I must have given away about 15 lamps. Like, it's funny the things you accumulate. And now I have a very organized, labeled garage. I'm one of those people that has a labeled garage now because everything is perfectly organized, makes room for a home.
That's a good thing. I encourage that.
The feeling that you get, and especially right now, because at the time of recording this, it's spring, we've just the spring equinox, you know, like this is the time to be like making space. And you guys know I've done 1,000 podcasts about the power of making space energetically. And I use the analogy of like, you know, when it comes to your manifestations, your next level of manifestation is if you've got a wardrobe full of crappy clothes you don't wear. I literally said this in last week's episode. You are not making space for the new manifestation to come, and that's your life. If you're holding on to all these things that remind you of previous life, previous versions of yourself, who you used to be, they've got to go. Good. I
even say the same with makeup and perfume. I have a perfume, that I love. But every time I smell it, it takes me back to a place that a good time in my life that I wasn't happy. So I can't wear it. You know, I just keep it away. I just won't. But I have given and will give clothes away to people, you know, nice stuff. If I can't wear something, I would rather somebody else have the benefit of it. Because,
I totally agree.
You know, I just don't like seeing nice things hanging in my wardrobe going, you know, I'm not going to wear that. And, you know, I'll charity shop them. Occasionally I'll resell them, but sometimes I can't be bothered with that. But I think that, and also organizing your wardrobe. A lot of people have got completely unorganized wardrobes, and if you've got an unorganized wardrobe, you can't find anything. We've all got that drawer in our house that you open up and you go, oh my god, and close it again.
Yeah.
And imagine if for a lot of people that's their wardrobe. So then what happened? They've got this wardrobe that's unorganized. They've got no clue what's it. It's all hanging off weird, you know, wire hangers. I can't stand wire hangers. There's not a wire hanger in my house. I've got plastic, you know, the ones you get in shops, or wood ones, those kind of things. But if you'll only have like probably about 1/10 of what you'll wear, and you just keep going there, and you'll be sort of like, oh, it's something I'll get round to. So it's sort of getting somebody like myself around, which you obviously are paying for, makes you a lot more, because when you pay for something, you pay a lot more attention to it. And it makes you confront something. And I'll bring a rail and a notebook. I have a little app on my phone called Style Book, and I can make looks for people and then send them to them, because, you know, most people won't remember. And we'll go through everything, depending on the size of the wardrobe. Sometimes I can do it all, sometimes I can do parts of it. And I keep my summer and winter separate. I mean, not everybody can do that. I appreciate it. But even if you can't do that, you can buy yourself clear boxes, and all my summer stuff goes up. And then I rotate, and I have like a core. Well, there's normally a core part of your wardrobe that is probably more trans-seasonal, because in the British, you know, sometimes in August you're either sort of sweating or you're sort of you can be freezing cold. I once wore a fur bolero to an August wedding, but there you go. That's Britain for you. It was the coldest August day on record or something. When an old friend of mine got married, and this pink fur bolero. Everyone was going, oh yeah,
yeah, but jealous probably. But that's so true. And actually, what I did when we moved in here is I sorted through all like anything that was related to summer and put it in clear boxes in the bottom of the wardrobe, and then winter's in the top, and then core is in the middle. That's exactly like stuff I can wear in any season, like suits and dresses and that get warm in any season. But we could talk for hours and hours and hours, and I've loved everything you said. So to close us out, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you, to find you, to contact you if they want to work with you? And yeah, tell us how to find you.
I am on Instagram. I'm the _style_PT. I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah, I can love that.
DM me. You can also find me on Facebook, Felicity Day. Or if anybody or any of your clients want to contact you directly, you're very welcome to pass my number on to them. I'm quite present on social media because I just do it for fun, and I like it's like my shop window. I'm based in Southampton in Hampshire, but I can travel. I can do services online, although I will say this is the one industry where face-to-face is better. But things like if somebody just wants a style personality assessment with me, and we can do that on Zoom, that's not a problem. There's a lot of talking, and it's quite a building of a relationship. That doesn't mean to say that you have to see me all the time. You don't, because really, I mean, what I like for people to do is, if you're just coming for a wardrobe edit or style assessment or something like that, is, you know, we just get together for once, and you know, you take away the benefit of that. Personal shopping I can do when I take you out shopping to wherever you want. London is good. And then I would do homework on what it is we're looking for, and I'd sort of whip you around the shops, selected shops, and if you want to buy, you do, but you don't have to. You could just use it as an example of what, and then, you know, take it from there. There's no pressure, because I'm completely unbiased. I don't mind if we're in Zara or if we're in Harrods and anything in between. The only place I won't go is Primark, but Marks and Spencer's, because essentially you're paying for my time, my skills, and my help. And you can take me anywhere that you want to, because you're not paying. I have no benefit about you buying something from Zara. I don't get anything from it. And that's what I really like. I'm completely independent, unbiased. So, whereas, and this is the nice thing about stylists, is that we don't work off commission or backhanders from any store or shop like that. I mean, there are some retailers. I like a lot of independent boutiques who, if I bring them a client, might give them a 10% discount because they've come through me, that kind of thing. You know, I'll always try and get people to help them save money if they can. But I also like to encourage people to buy from female-owned independent boutiques. I mean, I love the high street and the big brands. Who doesn't? But, you know, you get some really great brands and quality and service. And it's a bit different. You find a bit more different things in there as well, because the high street is very samey and it's getting smaller.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, last year there was the Zara dress, you know, the ones where everyone wore the same ones. And for me, like, again, that happened, and I nearly went to an event where, like, there's a couple of us that own the same dresses, and we're like, are you wearing this dress? Are you wearing this dress? Because of that exact reason. And it's finding stuff that suits you that somebody else isn't going to be wearing is the challenge as the high street dwindles, to your point. As the high street dwindles and those sustainable businesses that we all actually want to support and want to put our money behind. You mentioned one that I never put my money behind because I refuse to support such businesses. And as a result, you're right, the selection gets smaller. So it's about making sure that at least what we are buying suits us and makes us feel good. So thank you so much. I will pop all the links to your Instagram and Facebook and things in the description of this podcast when it goes live on Monday, 3rd of April. But thank you so much for joining us. And
thank you very much for having me. It's been lovely.
That was the way.
Anytime.
We'll definitely do it. I bet we get loads of requests from people. I bet we get absolutely loads. So thank you very much, everybody. That was the way that we'll see it. And I'll see you on the next episode.